Right, good evening everybody, anyone who's watching. Oh hello, that's crazy. Hang on a second, what's going on there? Okay, how's about that? I bet that's better now, isn't it? Is that better? Just let me know if that's better. I'm just gonna have a drink of this Coke. Fizzy. Well, let's assume it's better. I'll check it again in a second. If it turns out we're getting no audio, hope we get some audio now, maybe. Oh, you got audio now. Good. Apologies about that. This is always the way, isn't it? You don't stream for ages, and then you stream for ages. It's like you don't stream for ages, and then you stream, and then you forget all the lessons that you learnt last time. So every time is a learning experience. Yeah, super fun. So yeah, it's been an interesting few days. I got my weekly video out a bit later than I would normally have liked. It's like a day late, and as a result I got to watch Teresa's video first. Teresa Del, I gotta say it correctly, it's Teresa Del Pilar. She's another artist on the 100s, and she's doing she's part of the Werewolves and Unicorns crew, and she did an interesting video about tips for artists, like 5 really good ways to improve as an artist, and it was really enjoyable. I mean, she said, you know, feel free to disagree with me. I think generally I agree with most of them. I mean, her last point, it was like I wistfully agreed. Her last point was talking about artist care. You know, we should take time to look after ourselves and not burn the midnight oil and work ourselves essentially into carpal tunnel syndrome, or you know, into stress or anything like this. And I admire the sentiment, I really do, but unfortunately life tends to sort of have generally other plans, you know. I mean, I have a schedule that I try and stick to, and I try to minimise the amount of work that I do on an evening, but I still end up having to do work on an evening just so I can do, you know, the 100, so I can be a part of the 100s. It's, you know, it is what it is. And you have to realise I come from, you know, my background is in games development, so you sort of, it's almost expected at some point in your career that you will do some kind of crazy all-nighter. So I've done my fair share of those, so I've got some experience of dealing without, you know, the full 8 hours sleep. I should have gone across there. I do that now. And I've done it before, but I mean, you know, Teresa's right. I'm getting older. I don't think I can maintain that pace indefinitely. No one can. But you know, I still get a good amount of sleep in. That is, if my little girl, if she gets to sleep all the way through, then that's a bonus. You know, it becomes a problem when if she's sort of waking up at 4 in the morning. You know, then I'm being sort of torn in 2 different directions. But no, it's an interesting video. I saw this week. That was a good one. Marshall put up an interesting one today about separating the art from the artist. You know, when artists act like that. So when artists act like well, pardon my French, but when artists start acting like dicks online, you know, and you know, there was an interesting discussion about that, and it's tricky. I think it's tricky. I don't think it's easy. I think on paper we all want to sort of separate the art from the artist, but I think there's a certain point where an artist becomes so toxic that you cannot avoid it. Yeah, the one thing I don't think you should do, I don't think we should have any sort of, no, I don't think it's a situation where you've got witch hunts and mob justice, trial by public opinion. I think that's a bad idea. Okay. Anyway, back on subject, back on topic. We've actually no, I'll carry on doing the rest of death. I'll do this one now. Let's go through on a sort of colour by colour basis. It's going to be interesting because in essence, the mid panel, if we're introducing the rest of the horsemen and this old lady, and they don't have colour schemes per se, and we're working in black and white, so it's a bit hit and miss. You know, you want to come up with a decent colour palette for them. But you also want to make sure that they're unique, and you've only got grayscales to work in. Okay, this will be done in a second. Best thing about this character is he's very tall, very thin, and he's basically he's essentially monochromatic. He's only got like 2 tones, and we don't worry about anything else. Yeah, okay. So yeah, let's bring up that. Let's use the eyedropper. Let's get that skull tone that I used. And one of the good things is, because I've already done a lot of the flatting on page 1. A lot of the flatting on page 1 was done. By stealing the colours, we're keeping a consistent colour scheme across all the pages, and we can adjust for any kind of special lighting effects that you want to use, that sort of thing. And because the blacks are really well spotted, we've got a lot of like saturated blacks. Sorry, you can't see my finger pointing. We've got a lot of spotted blacks in the side of the cowl and the shading. It means you can just sort of colour very roughly around it, like so. And just fill that in, and boom, done. Right, that's the last panel. It's got a little Ankh symbol, and I'm pretty sure that I got that from a BOC album cover, or it was from a piece of artwork on my high school art teacher's wall in the art room. I don't know if it's the original piece of artwork he did or if it's from an album cover, but I seem to remember Death on a Horse with an Ankh sort of as a sort of a brooch. Yeah, let's have a look in the chat, see if anyone's got any messages. Mike's got some tech information. Lag is about a minute. Okay, alright, that's cool. Alright, let's have a little slurpy old Coke Zero. Yeah. Yeah. Just gonna zoom out a bit. This looks pretty sweet. I'm liking that. It really does sing, doesn't it? Right. Let's just check. Every time. Yeah, okay. Let's get the Ankh in there. Zooming out. can see I've sort of been working like largest to smallest. See, now I'm just doing this tiny little ank here, and I'm just it's been an interesting week. I found out on Saturday I'd won a regional design award for theatrical poster design, which was nice. No, it's good. Those of you who know me or have watched any of the videos will know that the delectable and delightful Mrs. Hingley, her big passion is amateur dramatics, and we're both members of a local amateur dramatic group. I mainly do stuff behind the scenes. She's generally on stage, treading the boards and just being generally brilliant. And as a backstage type person, I'm often asked to design the poster. And a couple of years ago, I designed the poster for one of the productions, which won the national poster design competition, which is run by NODA. NODA is like a trade organisation for all the amateur groups across the country. So that was nice. I won a trophy, really big trophy. It was like this big. It was huge. So we've won regionals. So we've won the East Coast. I think it's just East. And now we're on for nationals. So a bit later on this year, we might have to venture forth to a new place and maybe pick up some kind of crazy award. Who knows? Who can say? Watch this space. I'll keep you all informed. Right. Let's start with these two characters here now. This is war. This is famine. I'm calling this one Bird Lady, but this is basically every old lady you've ever seen ever. Think for a herd. Think what was her name out of that's someone who ran the tea shop. Think Betty White. Think Mrs. Brady, old lady, that sort of thing. So yeah. Right, I'm going to start with Famine. Actually, Famine was a tricky character. Was Famine? He took a lot of drafts and revisions to put together. He was a very tricksy character to design. So it was tricky because I want him to look emaciated. He has to look thin, so you have to see the ribs, right? But I didn't want him to look like a guy just wearing tattered clothes, and it took me ages to find a costume that sort of worked for him. And this is it. It is a variation on I think it was Tibetan Buddhist monks' robes. I'm just literally laying lots of straight lines down. The inks on this page are a bit messy, so I'm going to rescan this page. I think I know what's caused that. What's caused that is tiny bits of LED, tiny bits of lead, pencil lead on the page. So I'll just go in and with an eraser finish, give it a once over an eraser, rescan, and then just realign the pages. That should be straightforward. And I've done things like this before with the Little Heroes project that went off last week. Page 2 on that was tricky. It got a little bit of no, it was page 1. It was the first 2 panels on page 1 that were giving me problems because essentially one was a trace back of another. So I just scanned it in twice, and I ended up having to do a little bit of post-production work on that one. Right. You may be wondering about this grey tone that's in the background. It's just a generic sort of mid-grey. It's nothing special. I just find that often if you're putting tones down against white, it's hard to gauge it. Everything will become too bright, so I put a tone down of some kind just to help me. This is a strange project because essentially I've got millions of colours to choose from, but ultimately it doesn't matter as long as they're all grey. Oh, see, that's too bright. It's too garish. I think we're going to be doing a bit of this. That's getting there, isn't it? I need to go a little bit. Yeah, something like that. It's getting there. I'm just literally just picking a slightly darker colour every time and just filling it. I'm saying to myself, do I like it? Yeah, I do. Right, let's get rid of this. Let's sort out this negative space here. So how's everyone's week been? Has it all been fun and games, or has it been hardship and bad stuff? Hope it's all been good. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Yeah, okay. So a quick look in the chat. No one's saying anything, and that's cool. That's fine. I think I should really get. Oh, let me tell you about something I've discovered this week. That's blown. I would say blown my mind, but it hasn't. But it's just fun, nonetheless. That's smoothies. The place I work has a little canteen, and they do little things from time to time. And the one thing they've just started is a smoothie bar in the morning for breakfasts. So they open at 8 o'clock, and they do these little smoothie things where you pick your own contents of a smoothie, and they make it for you. And the last few days this week, I've been drinking smoothies at work, and it's been very nice. They fill you up and keep you going till well after lunch. Do I like that? Do I like that? Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I do. I think that's good. I think that's tight. So yeah, just picking out the areas of the robe. If this was colour, these robes would be. I'd probably have them as orange. But it's tricky because he sat on a plastic chair, and obviously plastic chair. Anyone who had a plastic stacking chair in the house at school, they were nearly always orange. Alright. Okay. Let's pick out the chair detail now. You can see I've overlapped my selection here, but it doesn't matter because I'm going darker and I'm using the properties of the fill cam to actually just filter bits. I want to go a little bit darker on that. A little bit more contrast. I think that'll do it. Zoom out. That looks pretty good. I quite like that. I think that'll look really good. All right. shares. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Alright. Alright, that looks good. So this is war. Sort of, he's really based on sort of Trojan, sort of Greco-Roman types of soldier. I'm going for this sort of pleated kilt type affair. And greaves. I want him to look hunched up because he's massive. I want him to look massive. He's a big, hefty, brutish, vicious warlord type who's cramped into a little chair in the waiting room of a vet's surgery, and I've probably messed this up. Let's go with that. So that's my orange, so I need to go a tiny bit darker than that. Oh, it's getting dangerously close to black. Huh. Yeah. Alright, I like it. Just going to put the guide in, turn that back off. So just so I know where I've got to sort of crop to, so I'm just going to do that. Right as well. Nice. Right, let's get his skin. I think it works well for the helmet. I want to colour this more like that for the horns. Yeah, the horns are pure invention. You know, people say it's a fallacy that the Vikings had horns on the helmet, and it kind of makes sense. They're very unwieldy. They, on balance, they snap off, and they're just perfect to get lodged in comrades. You know, so yeah, nice. Right, let's find a different colour. Let's go with that. This will be my spikes, which I've done as a sort of stud, for want of a better term. Yeah, I also finished thumbnailing out a script that me and Lee are working on for a cyberpunk anthology submission, and it was 8 pages, and I think Lee's done a cracking job on it. I really dig it. I've been sort of, it's a tricky one because we're going, it's crime noir but cyberpunky. So it's, you know, detective, solving a case, shaking down suspects, all that sort of good stuff. And so I've been going over the script and looking at some of the ideas that we got, and we've got this idea of having captions for narration, which I really like. A caption box for narration I think works really well. And so I've been sort of tweaking the text and adding extra captions in to add flavour, you know. I'm sort of going for sort of a Mickey Spillane, what's his name? Sam Spade sort of thing, you know. So it's a combination of some hardball detective dialogue and cyberpunk stuff going on. And actually I think we've got a really interesting hook to sort of hang this on. You know, it's an interesting aesthetic as well, because in the outside scene I've drawn the character as a detective. He's 1940s detective, raincoat, trilby, the whole shooting match. Kind of want to make this shoulder pad a bit lighter, so let's do that. I'm just going to pick down the line. And fill that in. Go a little bit lighter, but only a little bit. That's good. Let's make these studs a little lighter. Where's my eyedropper? There it is. Go a bit lighter, like that. Yeah, that's nice. I like it. I like it a lot. Cool. So let's just do this last one. And I look at the time. It is 25 to 10. I know it's not like other streams that go on for hours and hours and hours, but I think we've made a pretty good start here. I quite like. I think that looks particularly effective. I think that works really well. I think we'll make his kilt darker, or make his breastplate lighter. But I think that's starting to shape up real nice. Let's do a quick check on the chat. Oh, get you. Sorry, I'm just checking the old chats, and Mike's been doing a lot of work with augmented reality and augmented reality animation. Link to the video, please. Can you put them in the chat, please, or message me them later, because that sounds intriguing. Yeah, that sounds really cool. That sounds wicked. Sounds really exciting. Yeah, brilliant. I shall sit back in a second and have a look, hopefully. Yeah, whilst I wait for Mike and whilst I finish up, I just want to make a start on this old lady. Now, I've got an idea with the old lady, bird lady. This bit I want to fill totally white, and this bit to have normal colouring. So let's make a start. I'll make a start on the old lady, but we'll probably won't get it finished tonight. But it'll probably get finished this week. So tomorrow's Friday. Weekend begins then. I hope everyone's going to have a nice weekend. I think I'm taking my little girl out, and I think we're going to get some new shoes. So that's going to be interesting. I might even get a haircut finally. I'm just going to rough this around here because I'm going to fill that in anyway. Alright. Oh, okay. So I see that Mike has responded. It's for work. In which case, I will not pry. I understand totally the necessity to keep certain things secret. Well, oh, I've got to think. So I think that'll do for tonight. I know it's only half an hour, but it's fine. It'll be all right. So I think I'm going to wend my way. We'll carry on. I'll carry on with this anyway. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for watching on the repeat. If you do somehow like this channel, if you do find the videos in some way entertaining or informative, or you like it, like, comment, share, subscribe, rock the bell, do all that do stuff. I'll hopefully be back on Monday, and we'll have some more progress on this page done. If not flatted, and maybe even start some shading. Who knows? Crazy things have happened. And we shall see you all then. Just want to say thank you again for stopping by, and we'll see you again next time. Okay.